Now, you said in 2004 that you hope that there's no afterlife.
Yes.
Why?
Because I don't want to go on forever, and a fortiori, I do not want to be tortured eternally.
Now, a Christian would say that you wouldn't have to be, that if you take that step to say, I believe in this deity, it makes the miraculous more possible. There is historical data for the resurrection. And according to Christian teachings, that someone who receives Christ as their forgiver and leader, it doesn't have to worry about eternity.
No, but I still don't want it.
Really?
No.
Even if there were a heaven?
Well, it depends rather on what the activities were. But if the activities were simply praising God and things of that sort, I'm not a continuous service. Even a continuous, as I'm totally unmusical, the idea of my father-in-law, I think, would have been very happy about an eternity of first-rate music.
So what is the point of coming to a conclusion there is a God, but yet you wouldn't want to spend time with this God? It shows you that philosophy can only take you so far.
If the Christian God exists, what would he have to do to convince you of that?
I don't know. After all, I've never thought about this at all. And I'm not eager to start. He would presumably know.
You would know what it would take.
Yes, presumably.
Yeah. I mean, Bertrand Russell, I think, said there's a lack of evidence. But you found enough to believe that there is an intelligence of some sort.
Yes.
So you've come further than he did.
Yes. But circumstances have come further.
New scientific discoveries.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been a gigantic advance in the sciences since the death of Bertrand Russell.
Yeah, no question, especially in this area. What reaction have you gotten from atheists when you announced your change in view?
I haven't been much worried about what reactions I got from them. I would have no doubt been aware of more reaction if I was a devoted follower of the internet, but as I am not, I just don't care.
And what's your reception been by Christians?
Well, I don't know that there's been much question of reception. After all, what have I been doing which would involve me in a reception by Christians?
I think most Christians who truly care about other people would say, here we have a great intellect who was known as one of the great spokespeople for atheism in history. And yet he's come to a new conclusion based on the evidence that he pursued, that there is this entity, that we talked about, this being. For Christians who know you and care about you, they would see this as perhaps a step on a road that might bring you to faith in Jesus.
Yes, absolutely.
And out of concern for you and love for you and friendship for you, people would feel that. And I know you are aware of that, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What would you say to them?
It hasn't actually happened. I'll have to think about what I say if they do say something.
I do like Antony Flew. He's a lovely guy, even though I disagree with him. He's one of the great minds of the 20th century, wasn't he? And a lovely guy. But sad, really, that he was able to work out from nature that there was a God of some kind, but wasn't willing to move forward to hear what the scriptures actually said. But it dovetails into the debate that we've been having over the last few weeks on DNA and the complexity of DNA and how that speaks of a God. So Romans chapter 1, it says, "For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so they are without excuse." So the Apostle Paul is right. Over 2,000 years ago, Paul wrote those words, and they came true in Antony Flew, and that is incredible. Even one of the great atheist philosophers of all time gave an analysis of DNA and saw information and saw that it had to be created by a mind, and it led him to the conclusion there was a God. And he didn't go to the Christian God, but he believed there was some God. And that is exactly what the Apostle Paul says. He said that the invisible things of God, his eternal power and Godhead, can be seen within creation. And Antony Flew saw that. So you should be encouraged as a Christian today that there is evidence for God. And it might be argued that, well, this evidence from DNA doesn't necessarily point to a Christian God. But because there is evidence there and it does point to a God, it leaves the door open for many discussions and debates about the nature of this God, about how it relates to the DNA evidence. And what it certainly does do is it puts the skeptic on the back foot, and it makes them really think, or it should make them really think. And I think that's why a lot of atheists are not really engaging on this topic of DNA and information. About DNA, Matt Ridley says, life is digital information. Bernard Olaf Kuppers, the problem of the origin of life is clearly basically equivalent to the problem of the origin of biological information. Manfred Eigen, our task is to find a logarithm, a natural law that leads to the origin of information. Leonard Brilliant, a machine does not create any new information, but it performs a very valuable transformation of known information. There's information in the DNA that reveals a mind. The mind points to the existence of God. If this God has a mind, then minds are personal, and this is a pointer to the Christian God, who is a personal God and a creator. Let's hear what Antony Flew has to say, and we'll finish.
I mean, you know that people are praying for you, I would guess, and
I expect so, yes.
Yeah. Does that bother you or concern you or trouble you?
No, I don't. It's not a matter I think about. You know, after all, it's not something you notice.
Yeah.
The video is Antony Flew on God and Atheism, ID Quest, and 11th of February 2013. So please subscribe to them, check out their videos and the work that they're doing. The article as a basis for discussion is A Change of Mind for Antony Flew, Peter S. William W.ARN.org, Docs William P.W. Antony Flew HTM. A helpful article to discuss and think about atheism by Antony Flew is The Presumption of Atheism by Antony Flew PDF on commonsenseatheism.com, and there you'll see an excellent article written by Antony Flew about atheism, the definition of atheism, etc. So I hope this has been a blessing to you and help you to think through this issue. And it's interesting that quite a lot of atheists are moving away from atheism to deism, because they do see evidence of God in nature. And I would encourage you who are an atheist who's moving away from atheism to also read your Bible, read the Gospels, read about the life of Jesus, read a chapter of the Gospel of John each day and see where this leads you. Thank you for listening and take care. God bless.